Controller Dixon. I am the UESI Continuing Education co-chair. It's one of our subcommittees that we have with UESI. The presentation that we're going to give today, as you can see, it does say TxDOT. We may not have had a chance to make the update, but this was presented if you were at Utility Weeks, and there was standing room only in this one presentation. So we told them they could just leave it like it was because it is that presentation. And then once we get going, since this is our first one, we will have a specialized slide that said UESI. But this is a UESI presentation that we will have. This is our first one, and we're going to start doing these throughout the year. So if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see us present, please send me an email and let me know. So we'll get started right here. So if you want to go ahead, Julian, to get started, let's roll. Okay, our first presenter, we have two this morning, is Julian Valencia. He is a senior engineering with Atkins on the utility management team. He has a civil engineering degree from the University of Houston and is currently finishes his MBA at University of Texas at Tyler. Have you finished yet, Julian? Or are you still working on it?
2 more semesters to go.
All right, we're pulling for you. Has 17 years experience in utility design, SUE, utility engineer, and utility coordination. He has a love for the field of utility, and he has been a member, congratulations, of UESI since he was a student. Our next presenter is Angela, and it's Renner. I pronounced it. I was practicing this morning.
Yes, it's Renger.
Renger, on your last name. She is utility group leader at BGE, Central Texas Transportation Team. She graduated from Texas A&M and has been in the field for 16 years in utility coordination, transportation, engineering and design, and construction. As a utility PM at BGE, Angela has partnered with Austin, Bryan, Childress, Corpus Christi, Fort Worth, Houston, Laredo, San Antonio, and Yoakum districts, over 30 urban and rural district projects, and the US 59 expansion, the IH-35 CapEx South, and the CE&I UAVC and IH-10 CE&I. Thank you both for presenting for us today, and I'll let you get started.
Yeah, Angela, I think you're going to start here. Go ahead.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Controller, for the introductions. We will next go into what is a construction management plan, why a construction management plan is needed, and then we'll talk about the difference between the CMP and the 000 special provision. Then we'll give some examples and have some time for questions. So what is a construction management plan? It is an executive summary of the steps that will be shown in the plans to complete the project while mitigating risk of construction delays due to unclear project certifications. So these certifications include right-of-way encroachment, relocation, environmental, utility, state-owned utility, railroad. If any of these certifications are unclear, it can impact the construction delay, construction schedule, and cause delays. And so when you start noticing that any of these certifications might not be cleared in time, it's really important to start the conversations with your team and with TxDOT, looking if it would be best to push the letting for your particular project or to develop a construction management plan, which would keep the same letting, and the contractors would get started on the construction at the same time the these unclear certifications will be worked on and being cleared while the contractor is actually in construction. For the construction management plan, it's definitely important to have early communication with your team, with TxDOT, with all of your partners for the early development of the plan. So we've actually learned some lessons learned from our team is if we don't start early enough communicating with all of the teams, especially with the TCP team, and looking at how we can try to phase the project as soon as we start noticing that any of these certifications might be unclear. And if we wait to the end, a lot of the TCPs are very robust or intricate and very long. And so it takes a lot of effort to try to redo your TCP at 100% because you just at that point decide that you need it to start in the construction management plan. So it's much better to start it early so that you don't have to do all of the effort and the TCP and then at the end and at 100 trying to redo your TCP to include the utilities in there. The construction management plan shows a clear path for contractors to work steadily and successfully while outstanding certification items are being cleared. It clearly communicates where a contractor can and cannot work due to these conflicts, and it must demonstrate that there is sufficient work for the contractor away from the conflict areas without adding substantial time to the overall project duration. So it's really important to make sure when you are looking at the phases of the TCP and trying to phase in where the contractors can work around these uncleared certifications to make sure that the contractor has substantial areas where it can work. You don't want the contractor hopping around on the project. That will drive up the cost and impact the project schedule. All right, so the construction management plan has all of these parts. There's a memo, then the certifications, the construction time determination, the traffic control plan phase narrative, and then the conflict layout. So now we'll go into each one of those and talk about each one. The memo is an executive summary prepared for TxDOT's administration, and it must be signed by the district engineer or the district TP&D director. It's also really important to start these conversations early with your district and see if they have their own templates. Sometimes the districts do things a little bit differently on these construction management plans, and some have their own templates that they like to use. This memo right here is a template that we've used on a recent project that we received from a district, and it has each of the paragraphs broken out and instructs you on what's needed in each one. So for paragraph 1, it would be the general project information with the district's name, the CSJ, the location of the project. And then for paragraphs 2 through 7, you're given options, and you would select the option that is applicable to your project. So for paragraph 2, if your project has a delayed start, then you would use the first one. If there isn't a delayed start, you would use the second and fill in all of the information for your project. And then moving along with it, there's if there is no outstanding right-of-way or if there are right-of-way conflicts. Same thing for utilities, for state-owned utilities, railroad, environmental, you would fill out those paragraphs. Then paragraph 8, you would put any relevant details for your project and for the plan. As an example, talking about the buffers in there or given the status of the certifications and the clearance states. Paragraph 9 would be a closing statement, and it would be stating why the CMP is necessary, and this would all go to the district for review and approval. After the memo are the certifications, and this is the same thing as the memo. Each district might do this a little bit differently on their certifications, so reaching out to the district and seeing if they have a template. On here, I've shown parts of the certifications, and this particular template is one that we used on our recent project. And we'll look at the utility one. So for the utility certification, you would fill out the utility ID, the location, phase impacted, estimated clearance date, the phase start date or critical date, the buffer, right-of-way parcel, and a description. It's really, really important. And I know all of us as utility coordinators know that when you're coordinating with the utilities to try to get realistic dates. So we use a timeline tracker, and we'll break up the project with the utilities by milestones and work with the utilities to get their dates for their design, for their materials when they plan on starting the relocations, and just breaking it out and giving dates for the milestones, and then keeping track of that and continually coordinating with the utilities to get the realistic dates. And as those, if those dates are changed or updated, then we can continually update this construction management plan with the latest dates, and making sure that we have realistic dates to see how it might impact the contractor and construction. We also include the buffer on that certification. It's the buffer is calculated from when the utility is relocated to when the construction starts. So if depending on which district you're working with, sometimes it ranges a little bit. And from our experience, it has ranged from 3 months to 6 months. So really important, again, to talk with your district and see if the 3-month is allowable for the buffer, or if they require a 6-month buffer. All right, so construction time determination is the critical path, including all construction activities with all unclear conflicts included as the activities. So specifically for utility relocations, we will have that included on this in the schedule. So it will have the construction phases and stages, and also will have the utility relocations built into the schedule so that we can see how it impacts each phase and stage. All right, the TCP phase narrative provides an overview of the sequence of work shown in the traffic control plans. When it's decided that a CMP is required, a note must be added to the TCP phase narrative, restricting the contractor from working in areas where conflicts have not been resolved, and this is included in the 100% plan set submittal. So it's really important to specify each phase and each step within each phase, and spell it out for the contractor where they can and cannot work. And then the last part of the construction management plan are the conflict layouts. These illustrate all of the phases of construction and identifies the conflicts at the time of letting. There's notations for the unclear conflicts. It includes the utility name, the railroad, parcel owner ID, and their clearance date. So any certifications that are unclear will need all of that information on these conflict layouts, and this will also be included in the 100% PS&E submittal. It shows the contractor where they can and can't work with each phase and each step and stage within the phases.
Okay, so now I'm going to turn on my camera a little bit for a while, but I was actually in a pre-construction meeting just a couple minutes ago, so I just want to keep the Wi-Fi width available. I'm going to turn off the camera for now. All right, so what is the need for the construction management plan? So it's not just for the purpose of having a plan ahead for construction, but it's also a legal obligation. So based on the 23 code of the federal regulation, it says that PS&E package for projects using federal highway project funds must be clear before the FHWA approval date. If it's not, then a plan must be developed to show that possible delays to the contractor had been mitigated. So this is where the construction management plan comes from, is a mitigation of these potential delays that the contractor can have, and how those delays are going to be mitigated. Now we also have the memo from BioHealth from March 2016, and this memo specifies that the utility coordinator needs to make sure that the right-of-way is acquired, that the utility conflicts are clear, that the railroad coordination is completed, and all of these are and a couple more things on that memo if you want to go through it. But as for specific for utility coordination, these three are the more important, and these three remaining issues needs to be clear before 3 months before letting. If it's not, then the construction management plan is required. So you have two I guess two reasons of why you need it. One thing is a legal obligation. Another thing is text that memo, and the next thing is just make sure that the project is moving forward and is going to be completed on time with any delays that are being expected. Those are being mitigated as well. Now, some districts requires that we have a construction and management plan before those 3 months early. I know some districts will like to see the CPM by 30% or at least a draft of it. But most likely you're going to see most of the districts are requiring the CMP by 60% if we expect there's a utility delay. Now, please note that there is a text that has a standard operation procedure, SOP. For my understanding, that was published back in 2024. I'm going to post a link on the chat so you guys will have access to this SOP as well. This is located not under the utility tools toolkit, but it's located under the design rules and the standards and guidelines. I believe this SOP is real nice. I went through it. I reviewed it. I think it provides good information about the process, the approval process, internal approval process, or text that as well. But also keep in mind, as Angela mentioned, each district will have a different way of do things. But this will give you a pretty good understanding of what is needed. Now we're going to move into the difference between CMP and the triple O or 000 special provisions. So the construction management plan is not a public document. It's actually internal use for TxUESI and coordination. It is a living plan that evolves as clear dates are provided, as utilities go out there and they may find some situations or some issues in the field that may delay the relocation. So it's a living document. In compared to the triple O or special provision 000, the special provision is actually included on the bid package and it's used by the contractors for bidding purposes. So it's not, this one is a public document. It's not internal. It's actually, everybody can have access to it. And it's also a contractual document. So it's part of the construction contract. And if not met, then text that is subject to pay delay claims filed by the contractor. So it's really important that when you move from construction and management plan, we could be in 30%, 60%, but as you get closer to your 100% on your final plans and you're getting the documents ready for letting, make sure to get the latest date, contact utility owners, make sure the utility coordination is ahead of that communication and keeping track of those days because you want to provide the best days possible because that's going to be added as a contractor document. So it's really important. Here's another sample, is kind of going to more sample of what the memo looks like. So here's another sample for the memo that was provided for one of the projects. You can see the utility owner, the conflict ID, You see the stationing and the type of utility, the status, if the utility company is in design, is in construction, is in bidding, is it complete. You also have your estimated completion date, and the last three columns are related to your construction phase. So this is the last three is what you're going to look at the construction plans and see which phase of your TCP is going to be affected by this specific utility. So that's the phase that you're going to put here. And then you go into the expected phase that is going to be clear. That when that phase is going to start, um, you put that date in here. So that's the phase when that day is going to start. And then how the utility is impacting this construction. Is it a delay? Is it not affecting them, but you have a buffer? And if you do have a buffer, it's recommended to go ahead and add the buffer there. We also have another sample of two different utility relocation sketches. So on the left, you have the Microsoft project version, and on your right side, you have the P6 version, Primavera. So either those will work. Just showing some examples that you can use different tools to create this type of sketches. Here's an example of the utility layouts. We can see that we showing the first phase on this project. Actually, phase 2 is shown on this project, and we added the utilities on the TCP plans, and we highlighted which of these utilities are conflicting for. So, example here, we can see that the hash for construction this phase is this hash, and we can see that we do have a Windstream utility that will be impacted by this construction. And this information that is provided here is the same information that goes into the memo. So you want to make sure those two documents are communicating between each other, and you don't have different dates here than the one on the memo. Okay, and I think that kind of shows what goes into the CMP. Again, it all depends on your project. Some projects are going to be more complicated, and the CMP will take longer to complete. This project was pretty small that we can see here, so the CMP was pretty simple. But as project gets bigger, more footage, more linear footage, then you're going to have more complex CMP. Okay, Contrary, I think we are ready for any questions.
All right. Do we have any questions? I didn't see any in nobody typed anything in the chat. So if you want to raise your hand and we'll take you off mute if you have any questions. Okay, Trisha.
Good morning, Angela and Julian. Great presentation. I wanted to ask, do you see a reduction in TxDOT allowing construction management plans?
Yeah, and I've seen that it's based on the district, and some districts would rather push the letting, and they don't want to have the construction management plan just due to the risk. And then some districts are still allowing the construction management plan. So it's kind of just depends on which district you're working with right now, I believe.
Yeah, on my side, I will say that even though they're pushing the letting dates far out, they're still asking for CMP as a draft, just so they have it. And if even pushing at the project, the letting 3 months away from what was originally, this we still sometimes use it because of issues on the field. So I think it's better to have it prepared in case you need it, and that way the district has it ready as well.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Well, I have one. With on one of your projects that you had a construction management plan, have you had any problems where the utility gave you the date and then come the time that they got started and then something happened in the middle, so they got delayed, where there's still um, claims against the contractor? Because they got started with their work, but something happened with the utility, so they had to stop. And did it stop the construction? And you had delay claims during that time?
Well, we have had it where the utility may have started on time or may not have it, but and then the schedule is slipping and to where it could impact the contractor's schedule. And so what we have done is worked with the contractors and the utilities and having those meetings with both of them and trying to track the utility schedule with contractors. And what we've been able to do is look at other areas that the contractor could possibly work on just to try to keep them moving, to try to avoid the delay claim. And that's, as long as we can try to find something else where they can possibly work to avoid those claims, that's the first step that we try to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
on my side, I mean, the ones I had created, luckily, most of them are being good, and the utility is able to complete on time, and construction can start. But I do have some experience in other projects where there was a CMP created, and as part of the GEC, we kind of took it and we wanted to use it, right? But there were so many delays out there, either construction issues or field conditions, designs were not accurate, that CMP was eventually we didn't use it at all. Luckily, we haven't had received any delay claims. We were able to work with a contractor and find, like Angela mentioned, places that they can work and try to adjust the schedules as much as we can. I think for the purpose of utility coordination, it's like you don't stop once the project is out. That utility coordination is still going to take place until all the utilities are clear, and that schedule that you have planned that you were to keeping track, you want to still keep it track during construction, just to fine tune it a little more and hopefully use it in the future too.
Okay, thank you. That's very important what you said, that you don't stop. You follow the utility all the way through until it's completed. And I think we have a lot of times, where we'll finish that and we'll have another project going, and we need to jump over to that project and we forget sometime to go back and check and follow up. So I think that's very important. And remember, you need to follow it from birth to I say death, until it finishes, until it's completed. Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay. Well, I'm going to have Trisha, who's the vice president of the Texas UESI, say a few words since Amy is out of the office. And then if you have any other questions, still please don't think this is the end. We'll accept those questions and everything. But I'll let Trisha say something on behalf of UESI, and then I'll give the updates on when we're having our next webinars.
Well, Controller, I would like to thank you for taking on the task of um, working on the webinars. I know you were part of that idea to offer these. Sometimes we are able to go to these conferences and we have different tracks and we miss some of the tracks, or we miss some of the presentations that we want to see. So I think with your help and your education group, you guys are filling in that gap. We don't get a lot of this information in school, right? So these webinars, I think it's a very thoughtful way of sharing information, and not just one event through the year, but you said you're doing it monthly, correct?
This year, Amy decided to start off slow, so we're only doing 3. Next year, I'm hoping to do at least 1 every other month, depending on participation. So please get the word out that we will be doing this. That way y'all will know. And like I said, if you have any suggestions on webinars that you would like to see that have been presented in the past, or you have a new idea, please let us know. We'll try to get those together.
And that's why I like the peer, the sharing between peers, because Angela and Julian, you know, a lot of us, we're gonna all work with each other on different projects. And so having this as a platform for sharing information is fantastic. No one's getting paid for it. So um, I'm just grateful for you guys' volunteer time.
Yes, thank you, Tricia. Yes, this is a volunteer position. So if anybody wants to join to participate with UESI, believe me, we have a lot of committees and we'll take all the help we can get. So you can actually join, make suggestions. Last year, Jesse opened it up that you can actually participate, and when they have their meetings, we get to sit in on all the meetings now. So everything is done except when they have their executive board meetings. But that's really uh, interesting, and you get to hear, so you can make suggestions. I just put the next 2 webinars in the chat there. Our next webinar will be August the 15th at the same time from 11 to 12. And John King, who is on now, he's going to be one of our presenters. It's going to be relocations and inspections. I think that's the name of it, John, unless you changed it. And then the following will be in December. So we'll have a break there, and then we'll do the next one on December the 4th. And it's going to be from 11 to 12, and it's going to be better processes. So please, if you have any suggestions on some webinars you would like to see us done, please reach out to the Educational Committee. Our new chair for that committee is going to be Rich Truitt, which I used to work with. So I'm glad to be participating and working with him again on anything dealing with education. So, and if you have an idea, and if you would like to present, please reach out to me and let me know, and we can discuss and see what topic you would like to put on. We're always looking for speakers when we get ready to do anything like this. So please reach out, get in touch, join UESI. It's a very great organization. We just finished our annual yearly in Corpus, the end of May, and that was a wonderful event. If you did get to attend, if you didn't get to attend, believe me when I tell you, you missed it. The presentations were on spot. There was a lot of time you could ask all the questions. I really loved it, enjoyed it, and the campus at Corpus, Texas A&M, they treated us really well, and it was beautiful out there. So please let us know. All right. Do we have does anybody want to say anything? We have time.
Control.
Yes.
This is Cindy Landez. I just wanted to thank you for doing this and ask, will you be sharing these presentations, the slide decks?
Yes. What Amy said, this has been recorded. So I will let y'all know that. And Amy said it was going to be on our YouTube channel. So I'll make sure I get that information out so you will be able to see this and rewatch it and show it to your coworkers if it's needed. If you have some interns, I was requesting that if you had interns for the summer, please have them join. But yes, we will. Okay, I have a hand up. Yes. You can come off mute. Is it Amir?
Yes, yeah, thank you. Again, thank you to Julian and Angela for the great presentation. I had a question regarding the main challenges on developing and implementing the CMP that you all faced and how you all addressed them. Thank you.
I think some of our main challenges are, well, one would be, trying to get the realistic dates and just coordinating with the utilities and working on those dates, but then also working on the traffic control plan. So trying to phase the project around any kind of unclear certifications can take a lot of effort depending on how intricate the traffic control plan is. And so it definitely is time consuming, and looking at how you can provide enough work for the contractors in certain areas to keep them busy while the certifications are being cleared in other areas. I would think that that's probably the most challenging, just because sometimes it could run, the conflict could run the entire length of the project, or it could be on both sides. And so just making sure that you have sufficient work for the contractor and phasing it correctly.
Yeah, I agree with Angela. I think that's one of the biggest challenge. I mean, the other challenge I think is mainly what all utility coordinators we face is getting some good days, getting some odd days from the utility owners. I think in that challenge, and the best solution is keep communications. Keep communication up and contact or create that relationship with the utility owners, especially with the representatives. And once you have that done, then I think the days will help you out. They can work around their relocations. I mean, if you have a good relationship with them, you can find ways to work around. Maybe doing an installations by sections, by phases, to help so the contractor can do their phase two. Like dividing the relocations for the utility by phases as well. Sometimes that will help, but again, I think it's communications and having that good relationship with the utility owners help a lot.
Okay. So I talked there and somebody came up with a question. Do we have any other questions? Okay, if there's no other questions, I don't want to hold you because I can talk. But I want to give you back some of your time, and that way you can have a little bit more time to lunch if you need to do anything. So please give Julian and Angela a round of applause here, and thank them for coming today and participating and volunteering their time to do this for. Really do appreciate this. I really enjoyed this presentation during Utility Week. So thank you very much, Angela and Julian. I know Julian was rushing because he was on a pre-con, so we saw him in his gear. Remember your PPI when you go out, PPE when you go out on construction sites and everything. We all have it. But thank you very much, and everybody, y'all have a nice day. And we look forward to seeing you in August the 15th at 11 a.m. Please tell your coworkers and your friends to sign up. Thank you, and have a nice day.